family. We are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Niggas playing hard, but he really so sick. Prosper got shot.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
See this? How you cannot go?
baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Come on in, you guys. It is Friday and I am so happy. Woo! You know, we're still going through some stuff, but you guys, let's get our mind on what's going on, okay? What's going on with Jarvis? Jarvis, you know, if you guys had time to think about Jarvis butts. I wonder what you guys are thinking. I wonder what you guys are thinking. So, I want to know. I want to know. It's Friday and I'm getting my mind off of other stuff because other stuff don't matter as much as, hey, Misty Blue, how you doing? I see Zena's in the building. Lisa Taylor, Nancy LaRose, how you doing? Ruby Turner, Aries One is in the building. How are you doing, Aries? And let me see if I missed anybody. I said Nancy LaRose and Zena, and Lisa Taylor is in the building. How you guys doing? It is Friday. I am so happy it's Friday. It's unbelievable. Last night I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and went in my bathroom and cleaned my bathroom. I don't care. I had to do it, you guys. You know how like your bathroom be just so you be like, I don't even want to go in there and take a shower because I feel dirtier when I get out. I'm looking around and everything, cobwebs. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this. And it ain't like dirty like dirt. It's just my house is right behind the highway. And if I would have known all the dust that comes in, oh my God. If I do not get it, it just builds up. Anyway, Aries has put out a little bit of things. Like I said, I want to know what you guys are thinking about on the Jarvis thing. Aries says, I think that Naziah will haunt him and Shannon for life. You know what, Aries? And I don't know. Is that your zodiac sign, Aries? I'm just saying. Because, Aries and Cancers really do not get along. I'm just saying. They don't. There's not one. And I really don't believe in the horoscope stuff. But, like, if I run across it, because it comes up every now and then, and I don't know why, but maybe because sometimes, I'll be like, humor myself. Let me entertain myself. What does this say? Yeah. She said, April the 19th. She said, yes. Yes, I know. Cancers and Aries do not get along. But, I mean, as far as like, no, no homo, but, I'm not gay. But in relationships, they don't get along. And I don't know why. I have no clue. But every Aries I came across, like if someone didn't tell me they was an Aries, I would know. I would be like, what's your sign? And they's like, Aries. I'll be like, oh, that's why. Anyway, because like I said, she said, Lisa said, that's my wedding anniversary. And in April, I really don't do too much of anything. I just don't. Because it is just a weird month for me. It's like if something can go wrong in April for me, and I'm just telling y'all, it will happen in April. Zena says, thank you, Zena. You're right on time. She says, I think he is more afraid of being in prison than being remorseful for killing Naziah. I think he might off himself. You're right. I think so also. I think in time we will hear that he was rushed to the hospital and they don't know what happened and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to hear about some weird incident. But I think both of you guys are right. And I don't know. Let me see here. Aries said, I think that Naziah R.I.P. will haunt him and Shannon. Like, I can't even put myself in the shoes of someone of that nature when they do stuff because it's just crazy. It is crazy. To have someone do something of that nature. It just doesn't even make sense. I'm just being honest with you guys. I can't even imagine that. I mean, if you really look at this whole situation. This man been having a relationship with a little girl for years. And they kikiing. And he texting her and she texting him, and she don't have a phone and she's using her auntie's phone, and he coming over to the house and they're sneaking in the basement and sneaking in the bathroom and upstairs, and she got to sit back. And she was like, you just need to give Shannon some so she can go sit down somewhere. Like, I'm tired of looking at her. And all the feelings of a little girl being in love with this big grown man, and he buying her snacks and cookies and stuff. Infamous truth tellers in the building. How you doing? Salute. Aries says, my oldest niece, who is a daughter to me, is a Cancer, and we get along just fine. All right. Yeah, it all depends now. It all depends. My ex-husband was an Aries. You couldn't have told me that, how many years ago that been? 17, 18 years ago. I would have been like, oh, I don't know. But, like, for the most part of it, like I said, I really don't believe in that stuff, but I have noticed that in the longevity of things, Cancers and Aries, just, I don't know. Hey, Diane, how you doing? Diane Harris is in the building. Infamous truth teller. So we're talking about Jarvis, and what do you guys think about Jarvis and what's going on? So we're waiting for March the 12th to come. And March the 12th, he's going to have to get up in front of that judge, and he's going to be like, okay, Your Honor, well, and he's going to have his head down the whole entire time. You guys know it. We're going to be looking in the middle of his, his noggin. And he's going to be like, well, Your Honor, I had a relationship and I loved her. He going to say that. He going to say, I loved her. And she told me she was pregnant. And we took a pregnancy test and she was pregnant. And I was scared. And so I coerced her to think I want to spend time with her. And, and she came up with the idea to come over after school. And so anyway, I don't know. Do you guys think that when they conversated and talked, things got heated? I don't know. Infamous Truth says, I'm a Pisces, Aries the first and the last sign of the zodiac because of my birthday. So they tell me on fire and water. Exactly. Is this the person that was grooming the other cousin or somebody the other side of another little girl? I'm not sure if this is the same. Yes, this is the person that was grooming the cousin. His girlfriend, baby mama's niece. She was like 13 years of age, 13, 14. He was 42. And I got 5 kids by Shannon. That was his girlfriend. Somewhat girlfriend, just, hey, we're going to make sure we rock it whenever we see each other. And, yeah. That's it. And she ended up missing. We've never found her. So he done already, and if you don't know, he pleaded guilty to to not only the red room, this little girl, but 4 or 5 other kids that he had messed around with, that he was charged with. He pleaded guilty to all of those also. So here's looking at doing 35 years to life because he pleaded guilty. And it's going to come up March the 12th. Let me see, am I off that day? Because they already got the schedule out. Oh, hot snap. I am off. Did I say I would work it? I didn't even say I would work it. So I'm going to work some days, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 days. I'm going to try to pick up 5 days in March and then the last day in February, which will be February the 28th. I think I'll pick up that day. I need to make me some money. I need to make some money, and I don't care who's doing what. I'm going to make that money. So, Infamous says 13-year-old Naziah Harris. Exactly. So, he's going to have to get in front of that judge, you guys. He's going to get in front of that judge, and he's going to have to tell what he's already done. I mean, he's already been in front of the judge, but he has to do it in front of everybody. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, he's already talked to the attorney. He's talked to his attorney. He talked to the other attorney, because there's no way in the world they're going to be like, okay, you're going to plead guilty, but see, we can make a deal. And, you're looking at 35 to life if we go along with the deal. They've already went along with the deal. So tell us. And he pleaded guilty. He'll say something of the nature. We went riding that night. We got in an argument. This is what he gonna say, y'all. We got in an argument. I'm telling you. And things went south. It was an accident. We ain't gonna get the truth out of this boy. Oh, wait, till he gets inside with the people on the inside, he's going to get the different kind of justice. I'm just saying, well, we do believe that things do happen, but I mean, he's in, that state up there, Detroit, is really rough in the jail. It's almost like, being in jail in like Atlanta. That's bad. And then being in jail in certain states, their jail is really like what we think it is. Like here in Kansas, I mean, our jails is not that bad. I mean, they actually called Kansas Penitentiary Candyland. I mean, we even got a jail that has co-ed prisoners, where the women and the men is in the prisons together, one on one side. They get to look at each other, smile and grin. I don't know how they can, congregate, but I do hear it does happen, because a lot of the women prisoners end up pregnant. And I know that for a fact, because I had a family member that ended up with a child. And they be tripping. They be like, oh, snap. The funny thing about it, but it wasn't with a prisoner. It was with a guard. I'm just saying. I'm telling y'all the truth, because that's embarrassing, but I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. And it ain't somebody way down in the cousin, bloodline either. It's really close to me. I mean, as close as you can pretty much get. You know what I'm saying, you guys? So they do call that Candyland. She said, blah, 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 lock him up. He is locked up. Oh, wait till he gets inside. I'm just playing. I'm not that bad, but yeah, he deserved to just throw away the key. That's what she said. She said, throw away the key. Are you supposed to say lock him up? I had a typo. You good. You are good, good, good. I'm just saying, you guys, like everybody, and then I guess he done already said he threw her in the river, but we knew the river was a little frozen or something. Or, she wouldn't have went too far down the road. But I mean, she came up missing. What was it, January the 7th? They locked him up. I mean, they went start searching for her maybe about February, March. They started searching for her in March, April. They started searching for her in March. Let me try to remember. So they talked to King in February because it was Valentine's Day. So they knew that she got off the bus, they were together, King, da 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 da. And so, anywho's, and I wonder what happened to King. So everybody's got a person of interest who they want to do more time. Now, my thing is, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. If somebody else needed to do time in this whole scenario, I would want it to be King. I know some of you guys, tell me who you, because your opinion matters, but I want to know, who do you think need to do some time because of this little girl is missing in possibly Red Room? Do you think Annette, because she let this happen on her watch? Do you think Shannon, because she brought this scandal into the family and into the home and knew his appetite was very huge and she couldn't contain it? Or do you think Shannon's twin, I can't remember her name, the twin sister, you would think they twins, they would have similar names, but they don't. Shannon and I can't remember that girl's name. Lord help me. Lord, Lord, Lord. Matter of fact, let me take one of my meds. Because sometimes I take them and sometimes I do not. But they explained to me that I need to take this one pill all the time. They just told me that, you guys. I'm just telling you. They just told me that. They said, you need to take this pill all the time. And I wasn't. I just wasn't. But the twin named Marquita. All right, Miss Minnie. You in the building. Whoever was involved and whoever enabled it. Yeah, this is the pill I normally take. But see, I think those pills are different. I don't know. So, anywho, the twin name was Marquita. Yes. Marquita. That was her name. Marquita. You guys are smart. You guys don't play. Y'all remember these? Y'all remember these people because y'all be all in their business. She said, "I'm in my bad." Typo, you're good. You're good. My bad. I was a little behind on the chat. You're good. Marquita, the sister, that was her name. Marquita. Marquita. So ain't nothing wrong with it though, you know. Marquita. So who in the building think all of them? Annette, Shannon, Jarvis, and Marquita. What about King? You don't think King need to have some time? Or Tawana, the sister, or the people that had the red Corvette or whatever car it was. I can't remember what kind of car it was. It was a red Lexus or Jag. It was a red Jag. She had a red Jag. Yeah, she had a red Jag. They put a fuel pump on. Man, and it must have came in that day. That's why I said whoever was involved, enable it, all of them. If I was a judge, yeah, you know. And I think, I would want, them to be able to tell the truth. But that's just not gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you guys something. Is it more important? Everyone involved needs to be locked up. Is it more important to get him off the streets? Or is it more important to know where Naziah, and I don't only just say little girl because she's still a baby, 13, she's going into, womanhood, young lady, young lady, her teenagers, they get to, when they hit that age, 13, 12 ain't nothing, but 13, you're a teenager now. When you're a teenager, them girls, my daughter, I don't know about all girls, but they get to start thinking about, that's when they hit puberty and they get to start their cycle and their hormones start kicking in, and and they start filling out in their body wise, which they always gonna be pretty, because they're little girls, that's what being young about. But I don't know why young girls want to grow up so fast. They just do. And it scares me because this ain't nothing new. We all at one time had to grow up, and it happens. I was young at that time. I grew up. Ari said King needs to also. Exactly. Everyone involved. The different baby mama whose children may have been assaulted and abused need to be locked up at too. The different baby mamas whose children may have. Girl! See? She said the different baby mamas whose children may have been assaulted and abused need to be looked at too. I'm sorry. Locked. It looks like it's looked to me. Wow. See, that's why I asked y'all these questions. Miss Minnie says King and Jarvis's sister didn't have nothing to do with nothing. All right. I hear you. See, that's what I say. That some people's going to think differently. Like, I think, I don't know about the sister. I just think that she, I think the sister got caught up in, that's her brother. You know, I mean, there's always possibilities. She knew something or she had something to do with something, but um, I don't think she would have called the police and told them. I mean, whether it was late, it was after she knew this and after that. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say this to you guys. Yes, like and share. I'm gonna say this, that I don't think without her calling um Shannon, the detective, because the detective name was Shannon also, um and telling her, I think I was there that day. you know would have known that if King went in and said, hey, this happened that day, and maybe that made her call and say, shoot, King went, they picked him up. They might have cameras and seen that I was there, and then I ain't said nothing. Let me go in and say something because I ain't had nothing to do with anything. I don't know. But she told me she was trying to do the right thing because it was a little girl, and she felt it was the right thing to do. Some people just went after her, and I get why, because things didn't make sense, and we analyzed it, we talked about it, we was like, but why would you back up the car, and why was it blocking the driveway, and you went in right after her, and I mean, we analyzed the whole thing. So I get it. You have to. The different baby mama, we said that. Okay. King needs time also, Aries said. Yeah, I do believe he does. Infamous Truth came out and she said, hey, I remember I can't wait till I'm 18 and then turn 18. He said, can't wait till I'm 21, then you turn 21, and then it's all downhill from there. Yeah, they get to paying them bills and the bills don't stop, and they want to go out and they don't want nobody telling them what to do. So they want to get out there, and then bills start coming and they don't stop. It's your rest of your life. At the end of this, you guys, and I'm just going to let you know, I got something that is biblical that I just want to touch on, and it's nothing to debate about. It's just, sometimes when you read something and you hear something, it ain't new. It's just you just want to just share. So we will do that at the end of this video, you guys. Miss Minnie says pedos like to hang out together. Pedos like to hang out together, but they don't. Pedos like to hang out together, but they don't. Well, what do you mean by that? Like to share. And then we've got Jenny Farr Quinton. I think girls try to be grown quickly because of conditioning, because girls don't get to do what boys do. And yeah, but upon reaching teenager years, girls tend to get a little more freedom. Okay, I understand what you said. I'm picking up what you putting down, Jenny. And you're right. Girls don't get to do what boys get to do. And it's a difference, and they don't understand why mama's being a little bit more strong with them, and keep your legs short, and who said what, and tell me where you at, and call me. And then the boy, he goes off and spend the night somewhere, or come in 10, 11, 12 o'clock when curfew was 8, and nothing happens. He gets into his room. The girl, she come in, we calling the police, the National Guards, and everything. One day, I stayed out late. I should have got a whooping. I didn't, but I didn't understand why I couldn't stay out, because I didn't do anything. I was with a little boy, but we sit out in the car and we just chit chat. We just talked, and time went, but we was having so much fun talking and laughing, and oh, it was just the greatest time ever I've ever spent with a boy. And he had a car, and I remember we all night long we talked, and then because I didn't want to go home. I did not want it to end. I did not want to go home. It was just so nice just sitting there talking to him. And we just talked, and it wasn't no touchy feely. It wasn't none of that happening. It was just spending some times with a young man, just me and him, and we just talked. We talked about, what we wanted to do and what we wanted to be, and hair and clothes, and what was going on in our life and everything. That nobody ever spent time with me like that. And I could be myself. Yeah. And next thing I know, the sun was coming up. Let me see what Diesel doing. Great. Yeah, he just let himself outside when he wants to. But yeah. And I think that we forget that these little girls, they want to talk and they want to share without being judged. I think that's one of the reasons why these little girls reach out, and these men can get in their minds and stuff, is because we don't sit down with the girls and be like, because we always want to be mama. We want to be mom. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you guys know, and in the black culture, a mama normally raising that kid by herself. Daddy may be around or whatever, but mama is holding it down, trying to work a job. And so other people got to watch the kid. And so they don't, they have authority, but it's not like mama's authority. See, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying that, you guys, because I thought to myself, it was best how I raised my kids, especially with my daughter being the oldest, being out of that relationship. I thought it would be worse, and it would have. I was not wrong, but I should not have been engaged in sex and relationships and things of that nature with somebody I knew. I didn't know at the time I was going to feel that way towards the person until I was already pregnated. And I thought, I can't raise this kid with this person. This person does this, stays out, does drugs, in and out of jail, want to hit and fight. But if I was not impregnated, I would have stayed in the relationship. So sometimes things happen to us to get us in safe places. So I don't never say, but I was sad. And that's what I was going at. I was sad that I did have to raise my daughter up by myself. And my husband that I have now told me, and I don't know how true it is, you guys got to tell me. She says, I'm already going to be 46 next month and I'm still in denial. Yes. King was Janelle man in 2019. So he around that family for 5 years. Did he walk about what? Blindfold on? Yeah, please. He offended deal if he testified against Jarvis. So what did they have on him? So what did they have on him? King was with Janelle. King was Janelle's man in 2019. So he around that family for 5 years. Did he walk about what? Blindfold on? I can't read what you're saying. But he offered a deal if he testified against. Oh, really? Somebody was offered a deal to testify against Jarvis? So what did they have on him? I don't know. Janelle? I don't know. Deserves good, affirm. Deserves good, affirm. Blessings to you. Infamous truth teller. I used to always say infamous. Infamous says, I think they like to isolate. They isolate their victims. What's my opinion? No disrespect. Oh, you think that once they isolate their victims, that's why it's just. But see, somebody got to open up that door. Somebody got to have that door open up the door and things of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Tina. Infamous Truth said that makes sense. Okay. Just like if you're really little or really small, you have to prove yourself twice as much to the people that are regular size that you can do it too. Yeah. I think in some of the conversations that we read between Jarvis and Naziah, because she was like, you don't know how I feel. I see you doing this and doing that. And she talked grown people talk. But, I'm going to say this, that grown women don't really, I don't know. I mean, there's all kind of women out there. But the way that she was talking to him, it must have turned him on. You know what I'm saying? Because he actually was having a conversation with her all the time. She says, welcome to ADHD Infamous. I talk in real life and I talk real life and chat a lot. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Anybody who doesn't know me, I've been around for a long time, but I talked with voice text, and me and voice text have a touch and go relationship. Yeah. Aries says Naziah was groomed from a young age. She never had a chance in that family. I don't think so. I think she was. She says, well, something's up in 2026 already. Illinois, sad people in government. Exactly. Infamous says, yes, SP, remember that mock trial that we did, who is 11, was enemy number one. Yes, I remember the mock trial. We remember the mock trial. We decided on that mock trial that we did in the case with Cash Gurner. We came to the conclusion that they were going to put him in jail, and it was going to be a while because he was incompetent. But now he pleaded guilty to the case. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he pleaded guilty to the case. And they say that he was competent enough to stand trial with medication and things of that nature. Tina says, in my house, I wasn't able to date until I was 16 because my mom was afraid of what happened to her that happened to me, teenage moms. Okay, that's what Tina says. Renee says, right, not to mention a lot of men change once you're pregnant. Oh, wait. And you know that to be a fact. I remember. Now, the first time I got pregnant with my daughter, her dad was in prison at the time when I had to tell him, I'm pregnant. But he didn't say, that ain't my bad. But maybe he didn't say all that because he was in prison. Okay? And we had been together for a very long time. But I mean, he was getting out. They do these things where they have these visits at home before they get out, and that's how I got pregnant while he was still in prison. They have these before they just let them out. They let them come home, spend the weekend, go back. And, it makes their time a little easier. And then a month, two go by. They get to come home for 2 days. Furloughs. They call them furloughs. I couldn't remember what they called them. But he said, okay. So with my son's dad, I called him up and said, hey, I'm pregnant. He was like, whose is it? Because it ain't mine. Like, you just, we only done it once. I was like, man, we ain't even done it once. We was going to do it. We got ready to do it. We, I mean, we laid there, but nothing didn't happen. I mean, not that I know of. I went to bed, but things do happen. It do, you guys. Okay. That's what she said. So, deserves good affirm says staying positive and praying for a better United States. The government is shady. All right, I got you. Why mothers can't get along with daughters as we both bloom. Yeah. Sometimes their mothers get jealous because they ain't got the perky tits and they ain't, everything that was up north done went south. And you know what I'm saying? You get the scratch marks and then, your milk dried up and your hair's coming out. And and you spending money for this girl. And so, they don't get along. And the girls attack the mom and the mom attack the girl sometimes. It really actually happens both ways. Some mothers attack them girls, and some girls attack them mothers. I'm just letting you know. I've been in both situations where and I see. I am going to tell you, but I don't never been jealous of my child. They're pretty. They're beautiful. Their body was beautiful and pretty. I don't think I've never was jealous, but I do know with my children, especially my daughters, looked it beautiful. I was like, oh my God, I wish I looked like that when I was that age or whatever, got a little body on going on or whatever. When I buy them something, I buy the best. I didn't go put them on some granny panties and, girl, shoot. You go to bed, you have your nightgown on, I would buy them the best little lingerie, buy the best, make sure you get your hair done. Okay, go try that on. I want them to look good, feel good. But some mamas be like, I ain't buying that girl nothing because they know. Now, I'm not going to let you wear some booty shorts and all of that stuff. I'm not going to do that. And that's not because you looking provocative. I'm not going to do that because I don't want people to assume that you're out there like that. And so sometimes you can, by being the way you dress, invitable. And I'm not saying that you can wear what you, because some people say you should be able to wear what you want to wear. But I'm gonna tell you, other countries do not have a bigger problem like the United States have, because those women cover themselves up. The only thing you're gonna see is their face. Now, if you get something out of seeing them, you're not gonna see their shoulder, you're not gonna see their leg, you're not gonna see their arms. You're gonna see their face. Can't even see their hair. And I'm not saying that the stuff don't happen, but it don't happen as much as it does in the United States. And their women don't work as much as the women here in the United States too. We have to work beside men. And then a woman be like, oh, Bobby, could you go in for lunch? I don't have no money. Could you buy me lunch? And Bobby say, of course, I'll buy you lunch. And then the other girl's feeling some kind of way. So, we get jealous of each other. We don't even have to have a child to get jealous over. Okay, Jenny says sometimes sheltering girls and not letting them learn and grow and make mistakes leads to, when they finally get freedom, they make terrible choices because they don't know any better. Okay, let's think about that. Jenny says sometimes if you shelter girls and not let them learn and grow and make the mistakes, it leads them to, when they get a certain age, when they get 13, 14, like, they be like, oh, can I go to my girlfriend's house and spend the night? And you be like, no. Can I go up the street and play with Jasmine? No. Can we go skating together, mama? No. So when she hits 13, she be like, you know what? I'm finna go skating. I'm not even gonna ask. I'm gonna just go. And so when she goes, she knows stuff happens. Everything always happens when you don't even get approved. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. How you gonna get home? Did you figure that out? So you gonna catch a ride with somebody, a boy. You gonna be with your friends, and it's cute to them. Ooh, girl, Jimmy likes you. Girl, he was buying you candy and holding your hand. So you key. Ooh, he likes me. You really think he likes me? Oh, he came over. He wanted to know, could I come out and play? And da. Let me tell you something. Yes, it happens. So Infamous says, yes, you did. And I didn't care. That made me feel special. Just joking. Oh, what? Okay. No, that was the comment with the people that the pets hang out with pets, but they don't do it. That's what I was referring to. I get you. And Deserve says, I respect the pass on, celebrate the living, and stay grounded with God, keeping me covered. All right, got you. Stockholm system. Okay. Infamous says, no, I know what you're talking about. I was just making it's my ADHD brain. I'm sorry. You're good. You're good. Father get put out when girls fall in love with secure scrutiny of a man. Okay. Yes, I got you on that. Wow. God fearing at all times. God fearing at all times. Furloughs. Yes, furloughs. I feel too, there's a lot of broken homes and a lot of just broken, relationships in life anymore, which is sad. We should change that. Only takes one person to start to change the world, right? Yeah. Yeah. I felt like I did not do my kids a service by moving around, moving on. But, I try to not have, especially serious relationships while I was raising my kids, because I'm going to tell you something. It was very lonely, but if I met somebody, I didn't let them come to my house. Now, one time or maybe twice, maybe somebody picked me up on a date. But to come over, hang out, we're going to have dinner at my house? No, we're not. No, we are not. Now, you can come and pick me up, and that might be very minimum to certain people, like people with good jobs, like government jobs or aircraft jobs, or medical field jobs, police jobs. You can come pick me up. I'm not going to let you pick me up and you working at McDonald's. Now, I'm not saying I won't date somebody from McDonald's, but we can meet at the restaurant. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. Infamous is, also women sync up together their menstrual cycle. And when you're around so many women or women and you live with them, you end up syncing up menstrual. And so then there's a bunch of witches. God, girl, your ADHD has kicked in. I wasn't even thinking about that, but you are right. Like, yeah, I have been through that before in my life. Anybody else been through that? Like another woman in your house, or you got two, or a sister or a cousin or something, and you be like, dang, I miss my menstrual, and then here it comes, and then she be like, I'm on my period, and you be like, girl, don't even say nothing. And then next day you on your period, and y'all like, yeah. Like, leave me alone. It's just one of those days. Exactly. In the same house, if you catch what I'm putting down, girl, I know exactly what you're putting down. Okay? And Miss Minnie says, yes, you can wear what you want to wear, but don't get mad when a man approaches you in a negative way. You know what, Miss Minnie? And the younger generation do get mad when you tell them, oh no, baby, go take that off. You're not wearing that. Oh, mom, why is you? Oh my goodness. Then they go hide it. Because guess what? That's what we did. And we didn't understand that we wanted the attention. Let's be for real. When you was young, our thing, I'm talking to the older crowd. Our thing was the short skirts. The short skirts. Yes, that's what we wore back in the day and had to hide it from mama. We take the short and put it in our little purse or something, or wear it underneath our dress or underneath our pants or something. And then we get where we gotta get to. We take our pants off and put our skirt on, and mama wasn't stopping nothing. We didn't realize she was trying to protect us. We thought, to be honest, we thought she didn't want us to have fun. And you remember that song came out, Girls Just Want to, Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Yeah, we do. That's all it was. We really wasn't thinking about sex, and we wasn't thinking about hooking up and all that other stuff. You know, if a boy smiled at us, that was a lot. We got his attention. We just wanted their attention. We want the attention. I'm just telling you guys. I don't know if this was for every woman or female or whatever. I'm just saying for me, myself, like, yeah, I wasn't trying to get attention. I mean, I was trying to get attention. I wasn't thinking about sex. You know what I'm saying? That was farthest from. Matter of fact, I was scared. I was just so scared. Yeah. So she said, okay, I done went up too much. Hold on. Let me see. No, I know what you're talking about. I was just making okay. I went up too much. I feel too there's okay, we got that. Yes, you can wear. Okay. Thank you, Carla. She said that's true. And then Infamous says that's the truth too, because if you don't do it or if you're not a part of that experience, they're going to find it somewhere else with somebody you don't know, have to start to make a change. And you know what? That's something, that's the peer pressure. I had, you know what I did? And I can only tell you guys my experience. Like, I wasn't bad looking, but I didn't know I was cute. You know what I'm saying? At one time. I don't think I'm cute now, but at one time I was. And I had crushes on all kind of boys all the time. And there's this one guy, he was a football star, he was a basketball star, and they was popular in school, and his name was David, and I was like, oh, I'm so in love with David, and I was a cheerleader, and I would cheer for David, kick the ball, and all this other stuff. David, run, and Spirit. We got spirit. How about you? We got spirit. How about you? And all this other stuff. I can't remember all of it for the Panthers. And one day, and like I said, he was a football star and he was a basketball star, right? Okay. He lived 1 block from my house. I would giggle and smile and laugh, and every time I see him, I just, oh my God, he's so gorgeous. And I'm gonna tell you something. Now that I'm grown, he wasn't gorgeous. I don't know why I liked him. He was dark, he was chocolate, he was skinny, he had a little bitty head. He was just so popular, and so I liked him. Now, he had a best friend named Petey, and Petey, he was light skinned. He had the nice hair, he had the nice eyes, and all this other stuff. He was a little short, but I mean, he was popular too. Matter of fact, they had a little saying with Jerome, and they say, I like Petey, but I want to go home with Jerome. That's all we knew. I like Petey, but I want to go home with Jerome. What was he talking about? And then, but the popular boys, like there was this boy named David Trotter. The other one was named David Oliver. But anyway, nevertheless, I always liked the popular boy. Shay Love, he was popular. Trust and believe, I had a chance with all of them. Scared of David, he was going to teach me how to kiss. David Trotter, he was going to teach me how to kiss. I ran out of his house. Woo! Okay. David Oliver, he came to the house. First, Petey came to the house and knocked on the door and said, hey, David wants you to come down. He wants to talk to you. And I said, what he coming down and want me to come down to do? He's like, he just want to talk to you, girl. He likes you. I said, you just lying. He was like, no, he likes you. Shoot. I said, okay, I'll be down there in a minute. He said, okay. I shut the door and continue watching my cartoon because, on Saturdays and Sundays, cartoons come on, And And he come back, knock on the door again, and he was like, "You coming?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What you waiting on? Come on. David wants you to, he wants you to come." I was like, "Okay." I'm thinking Petey just playing because, how they play with the ugly girl or the not so popular girl or whatever, whatever. David Oliver does not like me. I am just average. I'm just average. Tell me why the knock on the door again, and I just knew it was Petey again. So I open up the door, and there stands David Oliver. And I was like, what? But I couldn't believe this boy was standing at my door. My mom and dad was not at home. And he was like, "I thought you was going to come down and talk to me." I was like, "Oh, well, I was. I said, I thought Petey was playing with me." He was like, "Nope, I like you." I was like, "Whoa, really?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I said, "I'll be down there later on." You think I went down there, girl? I just liked the boy. I didn't want nothing out of the situation. I was too scared. I was too scared. I didn't go down there, but I had my chance, but I just didn't. Tina says, "How are they going to grow if they are sheltered?" To me, that is wrong. They're not going to learn anything if they are sheltered. Exactly. Well, you got to shelter them, though, because they can make some really bad decisions quick. Infamous is saying that's why we should not drop the ball on these younger generations and when they're young and still these morals and values like we used to. She said, "You better tell it, SV. Girl." Infamous says, "I've been single for 2 years on purpose, but I didn't want to have men in and out of my children's lives." Exactly. I went single for a long time. Pretty much my kids this whole life. Like, I did get married and I was in a 7-year marriage. And let me tell you something. I didn't trust that, at the end of the day, I really didn't trust that man with my children. I took my kids, when I went to work, I took my kids over to my mother's house. Hello. I'm serious. Sometimes, they had to do what they have to do. They get off the bus and my mom was in the hospital or something like that or out of town that they had to stay with him. But oh my God, I would miss work. I would dread it. And I didn't want my man at home by himself, but, because then he can get into some stuff. But I'd rather my kids be safe than figure out what this man is doing at home by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to figure it out. Like I said, maybe, out of a 7-year marriage, my kids probably stayed with my ex-husband maybe 4 or 5 days. Not all together, but you know what I'm saying? Out of 7 years, maybe about 4 or 5 days. I just really couldn't. Even when I got married, I really just couldn't trust nobody. Ari says, "When I served him in the U.S. Navy in boot camp, almost 105 of us had our periods around the same time." Oh, girl, God, that was horrible. I bet it was. Tina says, "The mini skirts, I know, I used to wear them all the time." Okay, all right. So you see me. Infamous says, "My motto is I play at their house. They don't play it mine," referring about not having any men come around. Exactly. I would sometimes meet them. Like, if I knew that we wanted to do something because, like, it's been a long time. I don't need spider webs around me. Okay. So, like, if I really knew I was going to do something, I would get a room. They would get a room, or we would just go out. And after we get done going out, we get a room or something, just hang out. You know what I mean? But That was very rare. I think I probably did that maybe 3 times out of 20, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like until my, well, not 20 years, but round about mm, 18 years or something like that. Carla says, not me. I never done that. I listened to my parents. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Stonewashed jeans and mini skirts were my thing. All right. Infamous. I lived in group homes, so there was a lot of females. Oh my goodness. Laughing out loud. I remember the mini skirt phase. Boys at school would try to stand under the stairs to look under your skirt. Uh-huh. And then remember they was trying to put mirrors on their shoes so they could come and stand and talk to you. I don't know what they were getting out of that, but I mean they were trying to do it. Mine's was the Daisy Dukes. Oh, you like the Daisy Dukes, huh? She said bodysuits that snap in the front. Okay, got you, got you. Miss Minnie says, you're right, you're not cute. You are a beautiful queen. Thank you. Thank you. Say, well, I don't think I am, but I think I can get there. With my age and everything, I think I'm all right. Like, not right now. Like right now, I'm kind of more like business oriented instead of physically my appearance, which I probably need to jump back in there and be like, okay, my daughter is keeping me with my facials. I need to get a facial done this month. I need to tell her I need to get my facial done. And yeah, I probably need to call her and say, hey, have I had a facial this month? Because, yeah. Because people be like, when I tell them how old I am, they be like, girl, no, you're not. I be like, yeah, I am. But, I don't wear my hair really like I need to or should or whatever. Because, it's, like, I just put me some crochets in or something, and they ain't even all that, to be honest with you. Because, you get to a point where you be like, well, like I am married and all that other stuff. But, like I'm just working, trying to survive, make sure we got the bills paid, food on the table, our health is right. You know what I mean? So, I was talking to my daughter earlier and we were talking about my son. We were talking about her brother. And she was saying that, like boys, that it takes them a little bit longer to grow up and understand you know how like what actually can happen when you get a little girl pregnant, like we were talking about my son. And because he always wanted kids, he always wanted a kid. He didn't really want a little girl, he always wanted a boy, and that's what he got a boy. But if a little girl would have came to me, and some girl did try to come to me and say, your son, that she had a baby by my son. And I was like, nah, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But I told her to come over to the house and we'll talk about it or whatever. I wasn't finna say, girl, let me give you some money and you need to get rid of it. I don't know what she thought, but we wasn't finna get rid of nothing. I don't know why she said it, but some girl said something of that nature to me 2 times. But, I don't know whatever happened about it. So my son could probably have a child out there that we don't know about. But more than likely, she was probably lying. That's what happens with little girls, like I said. I think that they want attention because they don't get the attention that they need. And then people can, because when my daughter got pregnant at an early age, I believe it's because I was going to school, and not only going to school, I was working a job. So I was full-time student plus a full-time job. And I had to do that. There was no way in the world. Nobody was going to pay my bills, and I was making only minimum wage working. You guys, so I really couldn't work overtime at the time. I just needed to make sure my bills were paid, like keep the lights on, keep food in the house, and like and the funny thing about that, while I was at work, I met a guy. Yeah, I did. I met a guy, and we dated for a little bit, maybe about 6 months to maybe a year, and I had to let him go. I had to let him go, and I'll tell you guys why. I let him go. He was a king. Now he was good looking. He was a bright skinned, tall. He was like 6'3", and he wasn't squirty. Like because I like men that work out, got muscles, got a chest on them. But I mean, he was fit though. When he walked like he was something. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the it. Uh-huh. And I was like, woo, and his eyes were gray. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I thought, ain't no way in the world I'm going to get this. But I got it. Anyway, when my daughter ended up getting pregnant, we was going out that day. That night, when I was getting dressed, getting ready to walk out the house, she was like, Mama, I got something to tell you. And I was like, what? She was like, I don't want to tell you. I said, tell me. What is it? She said, I'm pregnant. I said, girl, get out of here. She's like, no, I'm pregnant. I took a pregnancy test twice and it came up positive. He knocked on the door. Come on in. And I said, we'll talk about it when I get home. She said, okay. We went out. We went to the motel. And I sat there in the motel and just cried. And he was like, what is wrong with you? Like, I just spent all this money and you're sitting in this motel crying. I'm like, my daughter just told me she's pregnant. And she's just ruined her life. Oh my God. I don't know. And he was like, honey, listen, it's not the end of the world. Listen, it is. She's going to have a baby. And she's young. She's too young. And like I said, I was making minimum wage and going to school. And yeah. Anywho's. He said, just get an abortion. And I looked at him like, I know you just did not say that to me. I said, we can't do that. We cannot do that. He was like, so you're going, and he got angry with me too. He was like, so you're going to make this girl have a baby and run her life all on because you believe. And I was like, look. Hold on. I was like, would you tell your sister to do something like this, or your mom, or a girl that have a baby by you? Would you tell them to get an abortion? He said, my mother is a minister and my sister done had 2 abortions. And I've paid for an abortion. I didn't want that girl to have my baby. And you know what? I was like, guess what? It's time for you to take me home. We're done. I didn't say that, but oh my goodness. He turned out to be a cokehead anyway. So, but like I said, he was so good looking. I don't care. He was still good looking. He was fine as wine. Woo, he looked good. And everything else. And the funny thing is, he told me, because I wasn't dressing up or anything, but I still caught him. He told me, first of all, when he met me, he was like, I didn't really want to date you because I didn't want to date somebody at the job because that's a loser job. I was like, I'm there because I'm in school. He was like, yeah, when I found out you was in school and you're doing the darn thing, I was like, oh. And then one day I was going shopping. I had a shopping spree and I was at J.C. Penney's and I was like, okay, I'm finna buy all this stuff. What do you want? And I was telling him, what do he want? And he was like, just give me something or something. And I said, okay, I'm gonna get you a short. I seen this short in this shirt that I really like. And he was like, okay. So I got it. Because I was shopping for my kids also. I had a shopping spree at J.C. Penney's. So I could get anything that I want. I don't know what it was. It was like, I think it was like, I was getting my daughter everything for the baby there at J.C. Penney's. Everything was, we knew that the baby was going to be a boy. So I was getting her everything, baby powder blue and brown. So she had a stroller, she had a carrier, she had a high chair, she had a playpen, she had a crib, she had everything was all matched together. Anywho's, all right, infamous, you take care. But when I brought the short skirt, I mean not the short skirt, but the short set home, everybody grabbed all their stuff and everything, and everybody was all happy. Kiki. And then he was like, he opened up the box and he was like, oh my God. I mean, it was really nice. He was like, it's really nice. This is nice. I like this. Because I asked him what was the size or whatever, and I'll get him something too. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. I asked him, I said, what do you think I was gonna get you? You know? He said, I didn't think you had taste because the way that you dress and everything. I didn't think you had taste. So, you know, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And I don't know why. That's for somebody out there. I left him alone. I left him alone. Like I said, I was trying to look over the problem of the drug, but I couldn't. He would disappear and be gone, like no kind of, communication for maybe a whole week. I didn't even think it was another female. I knew what it was. He told me. He was like, he had a problem. And he told me why, what kind of problem he had. And he said, but, I'm working on it and I'm doing good and I've been clean for this long. I was like, okay, so, well, I'm glad you told me. I'm just so glad that you told me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't put me in something because the first time he disappeared, I was like, we're done. He was like, no, it ain't nobody else or anything. I'm going to tell you what it is. And when he told me that, I was like, okay. But, he was his own problem because he can make it himself. Or, you know what I'm saying? Why does the cocoa men look good, but they do cocoa? Yeah, Coca-Cola. Yeah. Yeah. He, and the reason why and this was what he said, like, the reason why it was so hard is because he had a free connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to pay for it, really. I mean, he pay for it here and there, but really he get a lot free. I don't know who the connection was. And then he said that he would make it and all this other stuff, and I don't know what that meant. Like I said, I didn't have a clue. So you guys, like you can, girls they get in trouble. They just they find themselves, these people out here in this world will make some trouble for them, you know? So you just got to be careful. And I think the reason why we were talking about this is because we're trying to figure out why our girls are, and we know why they are finding themselves involved in relationships and getting pregnant early and getting in relationships with men that are abusive, or relationships that are abusive and things of that nature. And I think I know the answer, and the answer is, like our sin that we done is, there's consequences in. I mean, we can look at the girls and say, they were fast, or they just want attention and they want such and such. But had I not got pregnant and from someone that was not going to be there, that was going to make life hard for the child that I was bringing in the world, they would have had a better chance. You guys understand what I'm saying? Our daughters and our sons would have a better chance because you got two parents in the household. It does make a difference. And it wasn't installed in me that's what I should have been gravitating to, instead of just finding somebody that was cute or handsome, good looking, gray eyes, blue eyes, whatever, good hair, nice skin complexion. I should have been told to respect my body and respect my future. That if I brought a child in the world, bring it in with someone that was going to be in that child's life. That is not what I was taught. I seen, now my mother was in a relationship with my stepfather my whole life, but not my dad. And that caused problems. You see what I'm saying? And I did not want those type of problems for my child. So instead of putting a stepfather in their life, I just decided I wanted to protect my kids, just to raise them on my own. And then so to raise them on my own, I can't watch them 24/7. So they would get in trouble. You know what I mean? Like when I have to go out there and make my money and whatever, or better myself, because I had a really good job, but sometimes good things come to pass. And then I have to get out there and get my hustle, get my grind on, and make myself, because you still got to take care of the kids. You still got to take care of the kids, and you can't take care of them with a minimum wage job. So I gotta make myself hireable and learn a whole new whatever. And so while I'm busy going to school, going to work, because that's what it was, my child got pregnant. You guys see what I'm saying? And so I hold myself responsible for that. Even though, I teach her, told her, talked to her. Matter of fact, I told my kids before I even went to school, I was like, it's going to be hard, you guys. You guys are not going to be able to. I need you to be on your best behavior. Quit thinking that you're smart, you're cute, you outsmart me. things is hard right now. I'm spending our last dime to make sure the bills are paid and food is on there. I'm even gonna get this job so it won't be so hard. But we need the car, we need the house, we need running water, we need electricity. But I have to go to school because if I stay at this minimum wage job, we're gonna get behind. Things are gonna get cut off, shut off. We're gonna lose the house. We're gonna lose the car. We're not gonna have enough to eat. I mean, they tell you survival things to do. Have a garage sale, unplug things in the house. Things of that nature. But at that particular time, my daughter needed attention, and there was no one there but me, and I wasn't even there because I was working. You guys understand? So, anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I know we was going to talk about something else, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. I want you guys to have a good Friday. Make sure that you do something positive. Tell somebody that they look good. Tell them that their hair or they smell good. Or tell them that, oh, you like their purse or you like their hairstyle or something. Say something nice to somebody. You guys have a good day. May God be with you.